Hello everyone, this is Dr. JERLIN Rajan, Assistant Professor, Karunya School of Management. I welcome you all to this online learning platform to learn managerial economics. Now we are going to discuss about production possibility frontier. So this is one of the important concepts in economics. As we know, resources are scarce in nature. Even though if we have lot of money, we cannot buy whatever we want. So that shows clearly the resources are scarce in nature. There is a scarcity we studied in the definitions part of economics. So production possibility clearly says that making the production possible by using all the resources available. What are the factors of production? Land, labor, capital, organizations. So by utilizing optimum utilization of all these factors of production and how far we are making the production possible. For example, you take the COVID-19 time. The most of the resources are employed to produce medicines. But so many people died out of starvation. And even though people died out of COVID-19, so the government was confused to take a proper decision or right decision at the right time. What to produce? Whether to produce medicine or food. But both are mandatory at that time. Okay. But the resources are available is only limited. Okay. Land, labor, capital, organizations. Okay. The people. We need to find out the export. When we are unable to utilize the resources, we will get the help from the other countries, the neighboring countries. We will import the resources. Okay. So this is what we are going to study about, and production is possible or not. Okay, when to produce, how to produce, for whom to produce, and how much to produce. These are the fundamental economical problems all the governments facing every day. Okay, so here, what is the production possibility? So this is a frontier. It is a graphical representations that we are going to deal with. So production possibility frontier is the graph which indicates the various production possibilities of two commodities when resources are fixed. The production of one commodity can only be increased by sacrificing the production of the other commodity. This term is clearly indicated as the trade-off. Okay, we need to forgo one good to receive another good. We need to sacrifice one work to receive another work. This is what we are going to study throughout this. And when we study, we need to understand about these concepts. What is production, output of goods and services, possibility, the maximum attainable amount. Frontier is the border line or the boundary line where all the resources are employed effectively. And PPF shows the boundary of what is possible and is used as an illustration in the economics to show the choices facing all countries in producing goods which use limited factors of production. And the production possibility frontier, so the different combination of goods and services that can be produced with a given amount of resources. No ideal point on the curve is mentioned. Any point inside the curve suggests resources are not being utilized efficiently. Any point outside the curve not attainable with the current level of resources and useful to demonstrate economic growth and opportunity cost. So production possibility analysis is mandatory to predict the economic growth and development. Now, we are going to study about the assumptions, the relationship, interpretations, and the graphical representations of the PPF. So what is PPF? It is a graphical representations of various combinations of two products or services using almost same and finite raw materials for production. What are the assumptions? Technological infrastructure or setup remains unchanged while we are using the PPF, and it takes into consideration only two products or services using the same resources, and both products under study have an opposite relationship with each other. And the relationship, the PPF study closely connected with economic growth, Pareto efficiency, opportunity cost, and law of diminishing marginal utility. So we studied already what is the law of diminishing marginal utility in the last class, and opportunity cost is otherwise called trade-off. And the Pareto efficiency, we can easily understand. 20% of the employees gives 80% of the profit or the production in an organization. 20% of the students give 80% of the result in the class. So this is what 80-20 rule. It is clearly explained by the Pareto. So it is called the Pareto analysis. And the graphical representation, you can see the graph. Along with the x-axis, we are studying manufacturing the soap. Along with the y-axis, we are studying manufacturing the pencil. You just look at the maximum level of pencil manufactured, 35. Maximum level of soap manufactured, that is 14. When we are going to produce 35 number of pencils, all the resources are employed to produce pencils, so we will be unable to produce the soap. So that result in the 0 level. Okay, and when we reduce from 35 to 30, we will be able to produce 30 pencils by utilizing all the resources available, and the remaining resources will be used to produce this soap. So we will be able to produce 12 numbers of soap. Okay, so this is the concept I will explain in the next slide. So the clear-cut graphical representation is there. And what are the interpretations of the PPF? That is, producing any combination of units on the graph is fully efficient. So that is PPF, frontier line. And if any points below the graph are taken, then the optimum and efficient use of available resources would not have been done. So any production point above the curve is out of the capacity of the organization or the country, thus it is unattainable. So look at this graph. This is the production possibility graph. Along with the x-axis, we are studying the output of cotton in tons, and along with the y-axis, we are studying output of wheat. Okay, just imagine. The 200 is the maximum level of wheat producing in tons. Okay, the 400 is the maximum level of cotton. We are producing 200 tons of wheat by employing all the resources available, land, labor, capital, organization, so on so, and we will be able to produce only 300 tons of cotton. And when we reduce from 200 to 160, we will be able to produce 100 more tons of cotton, because half of the resources are allocated to produce cotton. So we are sacrificing some resources from producing wheat to producing cotton. That's what it is clearly mentioned. 100 extra tons of cotton involves sacrificing 40 tons of wheat. The opportunity cost is 4 tons of a ton of wheat for each extra ton of the cotton. So here the opportunity cost of employing more resources into cotton production is expressed in terms of the output of wheat given up. Okay, so this is the basic concept of production possibility frontier. Now you see, so this is the line indicated by A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, all these points we need to consider now. So this is the frontier. So this indicates the optimum level of output. Okay, by employing all the resources available, we are not wasting any resources. Okay, so the point A, B, and C are efficient output combinations lying on the PPF line. This is called PPF line. And D and E are inefficient combinations. Inside this curve, production is possible, but what will happen? We are not efficiently utilizing the resources to produce goods and services. Okay, that results in the more number of wastages. And most of the time, we are not using the untapped resources. For example, you take the rainwater. How many of us are using the rainwater effectively and efficiently? It is a question mark. So it will be considered as the untapped resources. So the points D and E clearly says that it is the inefficient use of the resources. And outside of this frontier, F is an output combination that is not yet attainable because we are not having the resources. But the extension of PPF, if we want to obtain F, we need to import the resources from other countries. Okay, so during COVID-19, we imported a lot of medicines, export to produce these medicines from foreign countries. So we made it available. We made it possible, but all the time it is not possible. So this is the basic concept of production possibility frontier. Now, when we study the production possibility frontier, we need to study the two concepts, that is productive efficiency and allocative efficiencies, because the resources are utilized in such a way to produce goods and services. So what to produce? Whether to produce food or medicines. Whether to produce basic things or the wanted things. So This will result in always the confused state. The government struggle to take a perfect decision at the right time. So, what is the productive efficiency? The line clearly says the average cost line. All the production unit it investing a lot of money to produce the goods and services. If the production unit is not employing all the resources effectively, what will happen? The production unit is employed only 20% of the employees. 20% of the employees are able to give the 80% of the profit. And what will happen? The remaining 80% resources are not used properly. That will consider as the waste. Okay, so productive efficiency exists when producers minimize the wastage of the resources. Minimize the wastage of the resources. Okay, so we can also say clearly an economy is productively efficient if it can produce more of one good only by producing less of another. It is the very, very important concept derived from the production possibility frontier. Second concept is allocative efficiency. Okay, so you see, so this is also the production possibility frontier. This graph clearly indicates that, okay, so commodity X1 and commodity Y1. Just imagine what happens now. Okay, so cheese and beer. Okay, when we produce more number of beer, we will be able to produce less number of cheese. When we reduce from X1 to X2, we will be able to produce more amount of beer. Okay, and you just see it result in the Y2. We will be able to produce more number of cheese. When we reduce beer, certain unit, certain percentage, we will deploy all the resources to produce cheese. We will be able to produce more number of cheese. Again, from X to X3, if we reduce the beer, we can produce only the less amount of beer, but we will be able to produce more number of cheese because 75% resources are effectively allocated to produce cheese. So this is what the concept. And from this, you can easily understand that the Pareto efficiency, this is also known as the Pareto efficiency. Okay. So you 20 people or opted online MBA program. Just imagine more number of people from your organizations, around 100, 500 people are there. But only the 5% or the 10% people opted MBA program. So this is the basic concept. Apply this concept in uh, economical activities, we can easily understand. Okay. And only 20% of the people, 20% of the richest people in the world use the 80% of the world's income. Am I right? So this is what? This is the concept of production possibility frontier. So since the resources are scarce in nature, government is taking confused decision, sometimes unable to take proper decisions to allocate the resources efficiently, what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. So this is what in today's lecture. Um, Thank you very much for listening, and we shall meet in the next class. Thank you.